There is a truth, my friends, that many people today have forgotten. We are constantly looking ahead, chasing success, worrying about tomorrow, or we are stuck in the past, regretting what we cannot change. But I want to speak to you today about something very important, living in the now, because now is all we really have. Yesterday is gone and tomorrow is not promised. The scripture tells us, this is the day the Lord has made, we will rejoice and be glad in it. That means right now, in this moment, God is with you. He is not just the God of your past or your future. He is the God of your present. He is here now, and He is calling you to truly live. Too many people walk through life half awake. They are distracted, consumed by what might happen, or burdened by what already has. But you are not created to live in fear or anxiety or guilt. You are created to live in freedom, in peace, in faith. That begins when you wake up to the reality of who you are in God, not who the world says you are, not who your fears say you are, but who God says you are. You are not your mistakes. You are not your achievements. You are not the opinions of others. You are a child of God, created in His image, full of purpose and value. The real you is not defined by status or possessions. The real you is found in relationship with your Creator. When you live in the now, you begin to see life as a gift. You begin to see each breath, each sunrise, each moment as a chance to experience God's love and to reflect that love to the world around you. You stop waiting for someday to be happy. You stop chasing what cannot satisfy, and you start living with joy, knowing that God is enough right now. Don't let the enemy rob you of the present. Don't let regret steal your peace or worry blind you to what God is doing here and now. Jesus said, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. He invites us to rest, to trust, and to live in this moment fully surrendered to Him. The real you is not found in your plans for the future or in your memories of the past. The real you is found in the stillness of the present, when you are open to God, when your heart is aligned with His will, when you know deep down that you are loved and you are His. So I urge you today, don't wait for some future season to start living. Don't believe the lie that life will begin when everything is perfect. Life is now. Faith is now. God is now. Open your heart, embrace His grace, live in the now, and discover the real you. Too often we find ourselves trapped in a cycle of looking backward or forward, forgetting that life is happening right now. The present moment is the only time truly given to us. Yesterday has slipped away, and tomorrow remains a mystery. To live fully, we must embrace the here and now, for this is where God meets us and reveals His presence. Living in the present moment means awakening to the reality that each breath we take, each heartbeat is a gift from our Creator. It is an invitation to step out of distraction and enter into the fullness of life that God desires for us. When we dwell on past mistakes or lost opportunities, our hearts become heavy with regret and our minds are clouded with sorrow. We carry burdens that no longer serve us, and we lose sight of the grace that God offers anew each day. The past is a chapter already written, and no amount of worry or longing can change what has been done. Instead, God calls us to lay down these burdens, to forgive ourselves and others, and to trust in His mercy that is fresh with every sunrise. To live in the present is to release the chains of yesterday and to step forward with hope and courage. Likewise, when we fixate on the future, anxiety creeps in and fear takes root. The unknown can be frightening. What will happen tomorrow, next week, or years from now? Yet the Bible reminds us that worrying about tomorrow only steals our peace today. God in His infinite wisdom holds the future securely in His hands. He invites us to trust Him, to surrender our fears and plans, knowing that He is sovereign and good. Living in the present moment means choosing faith over fear, confidence over uncertainty, and resting in the assurance that God's grace is sufficient for today. To live fully in the now is also to cultivate a deep awareness of God's presence in everyday life. It is easy to miss the sacred when our minds are racing or distracted, but when we slow down and open our hearts, we begin to see God's hand in the small things, the warmth of the sun, the smile of a friend, the quiet moments of prayer. This awareness transforms ordinary moments into holy encounters. Living in the present becomes an act of worship, a way to honor the Creator by appreciating His gifts and trusting His timing. Moreover, living in the now requires us to align our hearts with God's will moment by moment. It is a continual surrender, a daily commitment to seek His guidance in every decision and interaction. The real you, the child of God, is not defined by achievements or failures, but by this ongoing relationship with Him. When we live in the present, we allow God to shape us, to heal us, and to work through us in the here and now. This presence frees us from the distractions of worldly concerns and centers us in the eternal truth of God's love. Finally, embracing the present moment invites joy and gratitude into our lives. It frees us from the constant striving for what might be and opens our eyes to what is already good and beautiful. Joy is not found in chasing after distant dreams, but in recognizing the blessings around us today. Gratitude turns our hearts away from dissatisfaction and towards contentment, reminding us that every day is a gift. Living in the present moment empowers us to celebrate life fully, to be generous with kindness, and to shine God's light in the world. In all these ways, living in the present moment becomes a spiritual discipline that nurtures our faith, deepens our peace, and reveals the real you, the beloved child of God, fully alive in His grace. God is not a distant figure confined to the pages of history or a promise held only for the future. He is the God of now, active, present, and working in this very moment of your life. Many people live as though God exists only in some far-off place or time, but the truth is He is intimately involved with you today, right here, right now. When we embrace this truth, our entire perspective changes. We begin to see that God's love, power, and guidance are not just concepts for another day, but realities we can experience every moment we breathe. The Bible reminds us that God's mercies are new every morning. This means that His grace does not run out. It is continually poured out fresh for us each day. No matter what mistakes we made yesterday or what uncertainties tomorrow may bring, God meets us now with open arms and a heart full of compassion. He is not waiting for the perfect moment or some future event to show His presence. He is here now, inviting us into relationship and offering us peace that transcends all understanding. To understand God as the God of now is to recognize that He is constantly at work in our lives, even when we cannot see it. Sometimes we might feel abandoned or alone, as if God is distant or silent, but God's timing is perfect and His ways are higher than ours. He is weaving together all things for good, right at this moment, even if the full picture is not yet clear to us. Trusting God as the God of now means surrendering our need to control every detail and resting in His sovereign care. Living with the awareness that God is present now also frees us from the paralysis of waiting. So many people delay living fully because they believe their time will come later, or they put off trusting God until circumstances are more favorable. But God's invitation is to step into His presence today. He offers strength for today's challenges, hope for today's doubts, and joy for today's trials. When we live in this truth, we begin to experience God's power in our everyday struggles, knowing that we are not alone and that His Spirit empowers us to overcome. Moreover, God being the God of now means that He is ready to forgive, heal, and restore at any moment. No sin is too great, no wound too deep, and no failure too severe for His redeeming love. When we turn to Him with open hearts, God does not hesitate to embrace us and make us new. His grace breaks through the darkness of past mistakes and fills us with light. This present forgiveness is a powerful reminder that God's kingdom is not about what has been or what will be, but what He is doing right now in your heart. The God of now also calls us to live with purpose in this moment. Life is not a rehearsal or a waiting room for some distant future. It is a gift to be used for His glory today. When we realize that God is working in and through us right now, we become more attentive to the opportunities before us to love, to serve, to encourage, to share hope. Each moment becomes sacred, a chance to reflect God's character and to make a difference in the lives of those around us. Finally, recognizing God as the God of now deepens our trust and peace. The uncertainties of life may remain, but the presence of God is a steady anchor in every storm. His promises are sure, His faithfulness unchanging. We can face today's challenges with confidence because we know the God who holds the universe also holds our lives, this very moment, securely in His hand. When we live with the conviction that God is the God of now, we open ourselves to a life of fullness and freedom. We no longer chase after the past or fret about the future, but stand firm in the present, knowing that God is with us, guiding us and loving us right now. Many people spend their lives searching for identity in all the wrong places, through achievements, relationships, possessions, or the approval of others. Yet these things are fleeting and cannot provide the deep, lasting sense of worth and purpose that every human heart longs for. Your true identity, however, is not found in what the world says about you or even what you say about yourself. It is found in God, the creator of the universe, who knows you intimately and loves you unconditionally. God made you in his image, breathed life into you, and calls you his beloved child. This is a truth that transcends all circumstances, mistakes, and shortcomings. No matter what your past holds or how the world may judge you, your value is anchored in the eternal love of God. When you understand this, your entire perspective shifts. You are no longer defined by your failures or successes, your fears or doubts, but by the one who gave you life and calls you his own. Too often people allow their identities to be shaped by external factors. They might believe they are only as worthy as their accomplishments or the approval they receive. Others might feel trapped by labels: I am a failure, I am unlovable, I am insignificant. These lies steal joy and rob the soul of peace. But God's truth is far greater. He sees beyond the surface, beyond the mistakes, and declares that you are precious, valued, and made for a purpose. Your true identity in God also means you are not alone. As his child, you are part of a larger family, a community bound by love and faith. This belonging brings strength and encouragement, reminding you that you are supported and cherished. It means that your life has meaning beyond your own understanding, because God is working through you in ways both seen and unseen. When you embrace your identity in God, you begin to live differently. You stop striving to prove yourself and start resting in the security of God's acceptance. This frees you to love more deeply, serve more faithfully, and forgive more readily, not because you are perfect, but because you are loved. You begin to see yourself through God's eyes, which are full of mercy, grace, and hope. Living out your true identity also means living with purpose. God created you with unique gifts, talents, and a calling that only you can fulfill. Understanding who you are in him gives you confidence to step into your calling boldly, knowing that God equips you for the journey. It means your worth is not measured by worldly standards, but by your relationship with the one who formed you. Moreover, your identity in God offers hope and transformation. No matter what your past has been, God offers a new beginning. He invites you to lay down the burdens of shame, guilt, and regret, and to walk forward in the freedom of forgiveness. This identity is not static but alive and growing as you draw closer to God each day. In a world filled with confusion and uncertainty about who we are, God's truth stands firm. He declares that you are his child, fearfully and wonderfully made. This identity is unshakable, eternal, and rooted in divine love. When you grasp this truth, you find peace that surpasses understanding, joy that endures through trials, and strength to face every challenge. Your true identity is not something you earn or lose. It is a gift freely given by God. It is the foundation upon which your life is built, the source of your dignity and the anchor of your soul. To live fully, you must embrace this truth daily, allowing God's love to shape your heart, mind, and actions. Only then will you discover the real you, the beloved child of God, created for a purpose, held in his everlasting arms. Life is one of the most precious gifts we will ever receive. It is not something we earned, and it is not something we are guaranteed to have forever. Each breath we take is a reminder that God, in his love and mercy, has chosen to give us another moment, another opportunity, another chance to live with purpose. Life is not meant to be taken for granted or squandered in meaningless pursuits. It is meant to be embraced, cherished, and used wisely for the glory of God and the good of others. Far too many people drift through life without truly living. They are caught up in routines, weighed down by burdens, or consumed by the desire for more money, more success, more recognition. In chasing after what fades, they miss the beauty of what is already present. Life is not about possessions or status. It is about moments, sacred moments where we can love, serve, learn, grow, and experience the presence of God. When we realize that life is a gift, our priorities shift. We stop wasting time on things that do not matter and begin to focus on what is eternal. There are people who postpone living. They say, I'll be happy when, or I'll start living once I achieve this or that. But tomorrow is not promised.
The only time we truly have is, life is too short to be lived in fear, regret, or delay. Each day is a treasure and every moment holds the potential to bring joy, healing, and transformation. When we view life through the lens of gratitude, we become aware of the countless blessings that surround us: family, friends, nature, laughter, and the love of God that sustains us. Life as a gift also means that it comes with responsibility. God has entrusted each of us with time, talents, and opportunities, and He calls us to be good stewards of these gifts. Wasting life doesn't just mean wasting time, it means failing to recognize the value of who we are and what we've been given. God did not create us to merely exist. He created us to thrive, to bear fruit, and to make a difference in this world. Whether through small acts of kindness or great works of service, our lives are meant to shine with the light of God's love. Furthermore, life is a gift that can impact others in ways we may never fully realize. A kind word, a listening ear, a helping hand, these simple actions can change someone's life. When we live with purpose and intention, we become vessels of God's grace in the world. We begin to see life not just as something for ourselves, but as an opportunity to bless others, to be a reflection of God's compassion and truth. Living as though life is a gift also means we embrace both the joys and challenges. Life is not always easy, but even in trials there is meaning. Pain and struggle can shape us, teach us, and draw us closer to God. We learn to value each moment more deeply when we realize how fragile and precious it is. In both celebration and sorrow, life remains a gift, a journey that leads us closer to the heart of God. Lastly, when we see life as a gift, we stop comparing ourselves to others. We recognize that our path is unique, our calling is personal, and our purpose is significant. We no longer measure ourselves by the world's standards, but by the love and truth of God. This freedom allows us to live with authenticity, courage, and peace. Each day we wake up as a new beginning, a fresh invitation from God to live fully, to love deeply, and to walk faithfully. Life is not a burden to be endured, but a gift to be celebrated. It is in living with this awareness that we find true joy, lasting fulfillment, and the ability to make our time on earth count for eternity. Fear, regret, and worry are heavy burdens that many people carry through life. These emotions weigh down the heart, cloud the mind, and rob the soul of peace. They distract us from the present and keep us from experiencing the fullness of life that God desires for each of us. Letting go of fear, regret, and worry is not simply about feeling better. It is about trusting God more deeply and choosing to live in the freedom He offers. Fear is a powerful force. It whispers lies about the future, convincing us that we are not strong enough, not good enough, and that danger is always just around the corner. Fear paralyzes us and causes us to shrink back from the life God has called us to live. But Scripture tells us that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Fear does not come from God. His perfect love casts out fear, and in His presence we find courage. Letting go of fear means choosing. It means believing that no matter what lies ahead, God is already there. He is our refuge and strength, our ever-present help in trouble. Regret too can hold us captive. It keeps our eyes fixed on the past, on mistakes made, opportunities missed, and words left unspoken. Regret leads to guilt and shame, making us feel unworthy of love, joy, or forgiveness. But God does not want us to live in regret. Through Jesus, He offers complete forgiveness and the promise of new beginnings. His grace is greater than our failures, and His mercy is new every morning. Letting go of regret means accepting God's forgiveness and extending that same forgiveness to ourselves. It means releasing the past into God's hands and trusting that He can redeem and restore even what is broken. Worry is another thief of peace. It is the constant anticipation of what might go wrong, the endless cycle of what-ifs that drain our energy and distract our focus. Jesus warned us not to worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Worry does not add to our lives, it steals from them. Letting go of worry means placing our trust in God's providence. It means recognizing that He is in control, that He cares for us, and that He will provide for our needs. When we surrender our worries to God in prayer, we make space in our hearts for His peace, a peace that surpasses all understanding. Letting go of fear, regret, and worry is not always easy. These emotions often feel like protective barriers, guarding us from hurt or disappointment. But in truth, they are chains that keep us from living fully. God invites us to cast all our anxieties on Him because He cares for us. He wants us to walk in freedom, unburdened and unafraid. This freedom comes not from our strength, but from His presence. When we focus on God, on His power, His love and His promises, fear loses its grip, regret fades into grace, and worry is replaced by trust. Living free of these burdens requires daily surrender. It means continually choosing to fix our eyes not on our problems, but on our Savior. It is a process of renewing our minds with God's truth, remembering His faithfulness, and leaning on His promises. As we do, we begin to experience the abundant life Jesus spoke of, a life marked not by fear or regret or worry, but by peace, joy and hope. Ultimately, letting go is an act of trust. It is saying, God, I believe you are greater than my fears. I believe your grace covers my past. I believe your provision meets my need. In that trust, we find rest for our souls and the strength to live boldly, knowing that God goes before us and walks beside us every step of the way. Faith is not something passive or distant, waiting for a future time or place to become real. Faith is alive and active, meant to be lived out in the present moment. It is not simply a belief held in the mind or a feeling stored in the heart. It is a force that moves, acts, and trends. True faith shapes how we live each day, how we respond to challenges, how we treat others, and how we walk with God right now. It is not waiting for ideal circumstances to show itself. It is expressed in the decisions we make, the words we speak, and the trust we place in God today. Many people think of faith only in terms of big moments, times of crisis, great need or life-changing events. But faith is needed in every moment, not just the dramatic ones. It is faith that gives us the courage to face ordinary challenges, to keep going when life feels mundane or uncertain. It is faith that helps us get out of bed each morning with purpose, believing that our lives have meaning and that God is working even when we cannot see the full picture. Faith is not just for emergencies, it is for every breath we take. Living by faith in the present means trusting God with what is right in front of us. It means believing that He is with us in our daily routines, in our responsibilities, and in the quiet moments when nothing extraordinary seems to be happening. It means taking one step at a time even when we do not know what the future holds. Faith is not about having all the answers or seeing the full path ahead. It is about trusting the one who leads us, knowing He is faithful. Faith in the present also requires action. It is not enough to say we believe. We must live as if we believe. When we put our faith into action, we serve others, forgive those who hurt us, give generously, and love without condition. We act, not because everything is easy or clear, but because we trust that God is at work. Faith moves us to do what is right, even when it is difficult. It compels us to take risks for the sake of love, to step out of our comfort zones, and to obey God's voice, even when we do not understand where it will lead. There is a tendency to delay faith, to say I'll trust God when things get better, or I'll step out when I feel more confident. But faith is for now. It calls us to trust before the breakthrough, to obey before the reward, to believe before we see. This kind of faith pleases God because it demonstrates our dependence on Him and not on our own strength or understanding. It says, God, I trust you today in this situation with this challenge. That is the kind of faith that moves mountains, not in the future but faith in the present. Also means refusing to live in fear or regret. It means choosing to believe that God's grace is sufficient for today, that His power is made perfect in our weakness, and that His love surrounds us right now. When we live by faith, we stop striving to control everything, and we start resting in God's promises. We begin to see the hand of God in the everyday, to hear His voice in the silence, and to feel His presence in our hearts. Ultimately, active faith is a daily commitment, is waking up each day and saying, Lord, I trust you today. I give you this moment. I walk with you. I lean on you. And I believe that you are working in and through me. In that daily trust, we find strength, peace, and the power to live a life that honors God, not someday but today. Faith is not waiting. Faith is moving right now with God.